Of our Magnolia Area Republican Women since we started. He is here pretty much every meeting and is available whenever we need him. So thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank the Magnolia Area Republican Women for inviting me out tonight to talk about some road projects we've got going on. And I usually don't write all these down, but I didn't want to forget anything tonight, so I wrote a list of the projects that we've got going on in Precinct 2 here in Montgomery County. And I think after you see this or hear this list and we talk about these road projects, you'll see that there's a lot going on in Precinct 2. Probably more going on here in Precinct 2 than any other precinct in Montgomery County. So I think we would start, or I thought we would start with this monstrosity right out here in front of us.
At this time, sixth period should begin. Teachers, you start at 7:15, you go till 7:22. Sixth period, 6:15 to 7:22. Thank you.
As I say, this road construction overpass here in front of the high school has been going on for almost 3 years. And if there's ever been a project that I know of that could be snake bit or be jinxed or have something go wrong, it's going to be this one right here. This thing was funded way back in 2015. They started construction on some of the jobs, started some of the service roads and some of the widening of roads, and then they had to pull off because they realized some of the right-of-way was not right, and they ended up going back to court, so they pulled off and had to come back. And it just made things, it throwed everything completely out of kilter for a long time. Well, and then then they start putting the overpass up, and they start working on that, get things looking good, and then they come up to our office, and they told us that they were gonna shut 149 down on sometime in July, I forgot what date it was. They were gonna hang the beams over the railroad track. One of the most important things you do when you deal with the railroad track is let them know you're dealing with them, because they didn't have any idea. So that shut them back about 6 weeks. So we still don't have the beams over the railroad tracks. We still don't have an overpass, but they are doing their best to have 2 lanes over the overpass by the end of the year. So that would release some of this traffic. If you're not going to school, you can go up and over the railroad tracks, over the overpass, and move on. And the folks that are trying to get to the school can come around, use these service roads to get in and out of school. So that's what they're trying to do by the end of this year with the overpass, and hope they can they're looking to have the whole job completed by spring of 2018. We have another overpass in Magnolia, overpass at 1774 at the railroad tracks. That includes the expansion of 1774 from 1488 down past Walgreens, back behind Walgreens. The overpass will go over the railroad tracks behind Walgreens. And it will come back down and land right before it gets to the Magnolia West High School. And that project will terminate just the other side of 1486. Completion for that is around the summer of 2018. Then the Magnolia Relief Route, which it's a relief route from the east side of Magnolia, about a quarter of a mile outside of town. That'll go around northeast side to the west side of Magnolia on 1488. The environmental study's been done, all the public hearings are done. We could begin right-of-way negotiations by the summer of 2018, and that's probably a 2 to 2.5 year project just to try to get the right-of-way secured. So that project's probably 3 to 7 years out before we see completion on it. Copperhead Road, which is the extension of Nickel Sawmill Road. If you're familiar with Nickel Sawmill Road, headed south on Nickel Sawmill Road, when you get past Butera Road, the road makes a hard turn to the right. The new extension of Nickel Sawmill Road, we couldn't call it Nickel Sawmill Road. We already got one. We can't have another one. that road will take off and it'll go through Turtle Creek, or just the outskirts of Turtle Creek, and tie into Sanders Cemetery Road at the Harris County line, Spring Creek, and then continue on over to Muskie Road into Harris County. Now, we got the right-of-way cleared. We had to do an archaeological survey and a dig, and they found a few little things. We got over that hurdle. But while we were doing that, we had a couple of pretty good rains back in April and May of last year. So we decided to go back and look at our drainage design and our drainage criteria. So we stepped our drainage criteria up a little bit so we could make sure that we would have a road that would be passable, and maybe not 100% of the time, but most of the time. Now that bridge down at Sanders Cemetery Road in Harris County line will be a joint effort between Montgomery County and Harris County when Harris County comes across 2920 on Muskie Road coming up to Sanders Cemetery Road. So we'll do the bridge there at that time. Some other improvements that we've got, intersection improvement, Dobbin Husmith and Hardin Store Road. I don't know, I'm sure there's some folks that travel that, Dobbin Husmith and Hardin Store Road. We have awarded the contract in our last Commissioner's Court to make the improvements at that intersection. That puts turn lanes, left turn lanes at all four intersections, widens the road, puts shoulders, and puts a traffic signal where the caution light is now at Dobbin Husmith and Hardin Store Road. That will greatly improve that intersection. 2978, I think we've been talking about 2978 for years. As a matter of fact, I know we've been talking about 2978 for years. They finally have got it, finally got the utilities out of the way, and they finally got a contract awarded. Well, they've had a contract awarded. They finally got the contractor ready to go to work. The first phase of 2978 from Harris County line south coming north is scheduled to begin first week in October. And it'll go from Spring Creek in Harris County up to Caraway Lane. Now they'll take and do the two northbound lanes, get that open, put both lanes of traffic on there, then they'll move over to the southbound lanes from Caraway back to Spring Creek. Then they'll go from Caraway to Dry Creek doing the rotating lane option as they did on the first one. And then from Dry Creek 1488 will be the last section. And that's about a 30-month project.
This concludes sixth period. It's time now to make your way towards seventh period. Seventh period will begin at 7:29. Again, seventh period will begin at 7:29.
Egypt Lane. We've been Precinct 2, Montgomery County, and the Westwood Improvement District have been working on a plan and a design for Egypt Lane for quite a while. We finally got the right-of-way secured. We finally got the design done. We finally got everything worked out. And Friday, I believe, our plan is Friday, is for an award, to award a contract to begin the construction of Egypt Lane from 1488 to Research Forest to 5 lanes with 2 traveling lanes each way and a turn lane down the center. And that will be awarded hopefully Friday by Westwood Improvement District. And I want to thank Westwood Improvement District for stepping up and doing that for us. Thank you. Sendera Ranch, which is part of Fish Creek, we got 1488 at Honey, Egypt, and then Honey, Egypt turns off to the west. And Sendera Ranch goes through Sendera Ranch subdivision, then at the bridge it picks up to Fish Creek and goes from there to 2854. The first section of Sendera Ranch from where Honey, Egypt turns west up to the Lake Creek Bridge. That portion to add the other lanes to complete the 4 lanes of that project is under construction. And that project should be completed by the end of the year. Now, you take Fish Creek thoroughfare from Wood Forest subdivision north to 2854. That will complete the 4-lane section of that road. That's the other 2 lanes. That's under construction, and we'll have that done by the end of the year. The bridge at Lake Creek and the overpass at 2854 are both in final design, and we should have those out to bid for construction by the end of the year. Research Forest from Alden Bridge over to Egypt Lane. The completion of the 4 lanes, it's under construction, and it will be completed by the end of the year. The intersection of 242 at Goslin Road, it's been designed, it's been approved by TxDOT. We're waiting on a permit from TxDOT to move the signal pole, and then we'll begin the construction of that modifications to that intersection. What we're going to do at 242 and Goslin Road, we're going to add another turn lane from Goslin Road onto 240, a left turn lane from 242 onto Goslin Road, and then another right turn lane from Goslin Road onto 242. And all we're doing is we're waiting on the permit. When we get that permit, we can begin that job. Green Bridge at 242, we had the same thing designed there. We were going to put another left turn lane from 242 onto Green Bridge. We was going to put another right turn lane from Green Bridge onto 242. The folks that we had hired to do that job could not get their prices where we thought they needed to be. They wanted about 3 times more of what we thought it should be worth. So we pulled that project away from them, and we're going to decide who we're going to assign that to at a later date. So, 1488 at Oconroe Road. We've got a design that's approved by TxDOT. We're waiting on the permit to align that intersection and to add another left turn lane from Oconroe Road to 1488. And 249 from Spring Creek in Tomball to Pinehurst is our portion of the Montgomery County Toll Road Authority, 3.6 mile toll road that we are proposing to construct. We hope that we can go out for sell revenue bonds. Let me back up. We've got a traffic and revenue study that's underway right now. Hopefully we'll have that study by the end of the year, November. Once we see the traffic and revenue study, we hope we can go out to sell revenue bonds by the first quarter of 2018. Have the contract awarded by the summer of 18 and be driving on the road by December of 2019. We want to try to time this with Harris County's portion, our portion, and TxDOT's portion. TxDOT goes from Pinehurst over to 1774 Todd, Michigan. Now, there's been a lot of misconceptions, untruths told about 249. One of them is that the revenue bonds will be paid for by taxpayers. Revenue bonds are not paid for by taxpayers. Revenue bonds are paid for by people who use the road. Other misconceptions are that we're paying $17 million a mile for 1 lane of road. This right here is just a little picture of what we're paying $17 million for. It's 4 lanes. It's 2 lanes in each direction. These roads are already here. These roads are already here. We're building 2 lanes each direction out of concrete. 12-foot driving lanes, 8-foot shoulders, a barrier on both sides. Now this is just a portion of what you get for your $17 million. This is not included. This does not show the detention ponds, the overpasses,
Parents, you should be in seventh period at this time. Teachers, it is 7:29. You may begin if you have not already done so. Seventh period will last until 7:36. 7:36. Thank you.
This does not show the detention ponds, the on and off ramps, the overpasses, the tolling equipment, the tow gantries. It does not show most everything, but what it does show is you're getting 4 lanes, an average of $17 million for 4 lanes. It's been said we're gonna pay $17 million for 1 lane, one way. Now, that's just not gonna happen. It's also been said we're building this thing for the Renaissance. It's sure gonna help the Renaissance. It's gonna help Magnolia, not the Renaissance. It's gonna help everybody in Magnolia, and I'm ready for some help for Magnolia. Magnolia needs some help. So, that's just, most of the construction or projects that are going on in Precinct 2. Like I said, I think we've got more projects going than anybody else. And all these projects, once we get them on the ground and get them opened up and get people traveling up and down these roadways, we're going to improve the mobility in and around Montgomery County, especially Precinct 2, tremendously. So I'm willing to answer some questions or what anybody else would like to talk about. We need to talk about Harvey real quick. I'm sorry. Real quick. I'm sorry. When Harvey came in, we knew it was going to be bad, but we knew it was going to be this bad. I mean, I've got about 700, I think I've got somewhere around 700, a little over 700 homes in Precinct 2 that are substantially damaged. I'm not talking about just water in their homes. We've got some homes that are really, and some folks that are really hurt after this one. So we've got a disaster recovery center for folks in this area over at our Friendship Center Drive, our community building over on Friendship Center Drive. It's open from 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, I believe, 7 days a week. And that's where you register with FEMA, you go sit down and talk to FEMA, you go down and sit and they explain to you what you can and can't do, what you do need to do, how to try to get some relief. Now, as far as how many total homes we have, FEMA is still out surveying the area, and our engineering office is with those guys. We actually have to see the residents, see what kind of damage was actually done before FEMA can make any kind of estimate of what kind of money we're looking at, and then they can go talk to you one-on-one individually. We hope within the next 10 days we have a pretty good handle on how many homes we know that were actually damaged, how bad they were damaged, and what kind of programs FEMA's going to offer, Montgomery County's going to accept, and how we're going to negotiate, and then we can start trying to get some relief for some of these folks. So hopefully within the next 10 days we'll have a better answer for Harvey. I just don't have all the hard numbers right now. As soon as we get them, we'll make sure they're on the, what is that, MCTX, OEM.gov,
Yes, sir.
MCTX, OEM.org. You'll go to that site, it can walk you through some of the things you need to be doing. So, other than that, I'm willing to answer some questions. Yes, sir.
Hey, Charlie, the executive committee, which is made up of the precinct chairs, voted to put a referendum on the ballot to put it before the voters to approve any toll road being built in Montgomery County. Just wondered if you were for or against that and why.
I don't know if I'm for or against either one of them. I was told when we sat down with our county attorneys that we couldn't put anything like that on our referendum or on our ballot for a referendum for an opinion. So we can't put it on there one way or the other.
But if we could, if you don't mind answering the question, if we could, which way would you lean toward and why?
I would always want somebody to be able to vote. If we were to do something where it was gonna cost the taxpayers and I was gonna add debt to the county debt, I would always want somebody to vote. Yes, ma'am.
Can I just ask, I'm really confused about toll roads because I thought initially when is a toll road ever go away?
It can, yes, ma'am.
But they never do.
We've never had one.
No, I mean, in Houston, wherever. I mean, I've driven all the way across Kansas and it cost me $10, to go from one side of the state to the other.
Mhm.
I love driving on 99 over to Katy because it makes it so fast. But I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks just to drive a car over there. And then it never goes away. So, I mean, are toll roads necessary?
Well, yes, ma'am, to get this toll road built, yes, ma'am, it is.
No, I mean-
Or to get this road built, yes, ma'am, it is.
Because we can't do it because
There's no funding for it any place else. We've been to Austin, there's no funding for it.
how do we get funding? I mean, I don't understand all that, but I mean,
We're
that's too much to go
We're gonna
into.
sell revenue bonds. And
No,
we're
I
gonna-
mean, for a regular road, is that,
I'm sorry,
for a regular road, how do you have to go to the federal government or something?
you go through the procedure, you go through the federal government, and it could take 10 or 12 years for them to say we can build this road. And we can't wait 10 or 12.
Because we don't get our revenue back from the taxes on the gas that we pay, that really doesn't come back to Texas like it's supposed to.
And the reason that we created the Montgomery County Toll Road Authority, we can control this section of the toll road. The money that's either, we can either pay this road off, take the toll off of it, or we can pay this road off, pay all the investors back, and we can use this money to maintain the road, or we can use this money to build more roads, to benefit mobility anywhere in this county with this toll road. If we were to let anybody else build this, they could take that money and send it anywhere they wanted to.
That's true.
Charlie, who's gonna make that decision?
Make what decision?
Whether or not it toll goes on forever?
Be the commissioner's court.
The existing commissioner's court?
Whoever's on the court at that time.
15 years from now,
Two.
or whenever.
Yeah.
And are there side roads that you can take if you don't want to do them?
Yes, that's, the existing frontage roads are there now on our section of the road. So you can still, that's what you're traveling on today. So if you still wanted to travel those roads, you can certainly do that.
Stops.
You've got the choice. Yes, ma'am.
I'm confused about the funding issue. Grimes County is getting part of the road, but they're not having a toll road up there. So how did the road get in Grimes County free, and not free on tax money to pay for it, but there's no toll road there?
Grimes County has opted to have a 2-lane road from Todd Mission up to Highway 6. And, well, I'm not gonna say that'll be a toll road one of these days, but I feel like it will in the future.
Isn't south of that Grimes County going to be 2 lanes in Montgomery County?
I'm sorry, say it one more time?
South is Grimes County. The section is on the base scope program. It's 2 lanes in Montgomery County.
No. The road that we're building, the road TxDOT's building, the road Harris County's building will be 4 lanes up to Todd Mission.
You know, I know that's what the public's being told, but when we went to that financial meeting, what they passed out to us showed that the option was for 4 lanes, like the dream plan, but the contract scope was only 2 lanes. So I'm confused about what we're getting told at TxDOT meetings and what we're getting told in the community.
Well, the plans I've seen calls for a 4-lane road from.
All right, parents, thank you again. We want to thank you on behalf of the teachers and administration of Magnolia High School. We want to thank you for taking time out of your evening to come visit us tonight. Teachers, just a reminder, tomorrow is College Spirit Day, so make sure you wear your college shirt or sweatshirt and come support your favorite institution of higher learning. Again, parents, thank you for coming out tonight. We hope you enjoyed meeting our teachers. Again, we are very excited about them. We are very proud of them. We are glad that you guys had an opportunity to meet them. Teachers, we know that tomorrow morning at 6:45 comes super early. So we want to make sure that you guys can get out of here and have a good night's rest, and we'll see you tomorrow. So thank you again, moms and dads. Thank you again, teachers, for spending your evening here with us to represent Magnolia High School. And we hope everyone has a safe drive home and a great evening. Thank you.
The plans I'm seeing, it call for a 4-lane concrete road from Pinehurst to 1774 in Todd, Michigan, and then a 2-lane asphalt road from there through Grimes County. Yes, ma'am.
Me?
Mhm.
Charlie, what is the projected income from the toll road? How long will it take to pay off the investment where we're actually getting it?
That's what the traffic and revenue study is going to show. We don't know that yet. We don't know what.
In other places, where do they?
Well, I know when Harris County opened their portion of the toll road from Spring Cypress up to 2920, they were 20% over budget, more than what they had budgeted the first month they were there, and I think there's something like, I don't want to put a percentage on it, but they're grossing somewhere around $1.9 million a month on that section of the road.
We could stay in that, couldn't we?
So 2 million a month times 9 is 18, and 8 months would be paid for.
No.
The rental costs
No,
people
I'm
are going to pay most of it. Yes, ma'am.
The documents that were passed out at the hearing a few weeks ago said that the toll would never go away. So,
Documents it in Austin.
well, what was passed out at that event, that hearing, said, it split specifically that the toll would never go away. So why are we being told that it could go away when it shows that it would never
I don't
go
remember
away?
at any event where somebody said the toll would never go away.
Yeah, this was passed out by text.
Maybe it's their portion.
Could be their portion.
So we're gonna be
I'm sorry?
paying text dot.
How do you pay
Well,
somebody?
they're including this, the part that you're talking about, Montgomery County building is in this proposal.
They don't have any authority over our 3.6 miles of road. TxDOT has no authority over our section of the road.
Okay, well, this document also says.
I'd like to
that
see it,
it's-
because I haven't seen that.
This is a PDF copy, but it also says it is 2 lanes from Pinehurst all the way to Grimes County. Todd Mission, no,
Sounds
from
like-
Pinehurst
Right here.
all the way to Todd Mission. It's 2 lanes.
No.
Yeah, that's what it says.
That's what text dots?
I haven't seen
That's
that.
what TxDOT said.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what
I'd like
they're
to see it.
proposing.
I'd like to see that. Okay?
Yeah, it sounds like
We'll
left-hand,
get
right-hand.
together when this is over.
Okay.
We'll see what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
I haven't heard anything about the train lately at all. Is that still going to be putting in, not
What?
being put in, the tram?
The train,
Yeah, the train is supposed to be in.
I know Montgomery County, we passed a resolution that the high-speed rail could not do anything or make any kind of vote or any decision without us being at the table, and we haven't heard from it now. They moved the route over to Waller and Grimes County, and I think Waller and Grimes County is trying to fight over it. But it's out of Montgomery County as of right now, and I hope it stays out of Montgomery
Stays.
County.
Everything.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just want to say, this has nothing to do with the roads, it has everything to do with the service that our commissioner's office has done during Hurricane, the Harvey deal. I got to tell you, as a citizen who is out helping and giving supplies, it was pretty amazing to see our county officers and our county workers out there with trucks, I mean, immediately cleaning up. So I want to say from a church member who was out working with lots and lots of crews, thank you to you and your office. You guys did an amazing job.
We got some good guys working over at Precinct 2, I promise you. We got some good guys with the constable's office and the sheriff's office. And all those guys, and the fire department and the police department in Magnolia, they all stepped up. They all went above and beyond.
Charlie, wasn't just guys, there were all in there too.
We had a lot of people that said that. They all did. I mean, they really did. They did.
But for the residents that we were visiting down there off of some of these roads off have much to begin with, had nothing now, and your folks out there did an amazing job. And those people were so appreciative because the horrendous cleanup efforts, and I just think that recognition needs to be made to your office and to your folks there, Charlie, so thank you very much.
Here, here, thank y'all.
One more, Charlie, at the toll road. Did I understand you to say that whether or not the tolls will stop after the debt's paid is totally up to Commissioner's Court?
It's up to the Montgomery County Toll Road Authority, which is Commissioner's Court.
Which is Commissioner's Court. So there's not a separate entity?
Well, it's a separate entity, but that's who's on the board.
Whoever's on.
Can anyone else get on the board or no?
You're elected as a county commissioner or a county judge.
So you have to be a commissioner or George. Yeah. That seems like to me that maybe it'd be good if you would tell the folks up front whether it's going to go away or not, rather than say we'll just
Well, we
make
don't
a
know
decision.
that right now. We don't have a clue.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, if you're making the decision, if you guys are making the decision, why wouldn't you know
Yeah,
that?
who knows what's going to be going on in 10 years, 15 years from now?
Who's going to be commissioner 10 years from now?
Or you could be using that.
No, no.
money
Oh, well,
on another road.
so you can't set the precedent here and say this is what's got to
I
happen.
can't tell what the
Really?
future course, I can't make any kind of decision for a future course.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
It's, there's toll roads that have been put up all over the U.S. We have them here in Texas. Those were bonds that were sold to come up with the money to build those toll roads because that area, through tax revenues or anything else, did not have enough money to do it. Just like the ones in Houston, originally those were put up, once we got all the money back and all the investors paid back on the deal, it was supposed to be turned over for free. It hasn't happened. A lot of that, like what Charlie mentioned, what are the repairs, what are the maintenance in it, what are the roads need to, where is the tax revenue going to be at? They can't suddenly say, okay, now we've got to take the money out, we have no other money coming off of this, and we don't have the tax dollars to fix these roads, and now we have to fix these too. So that's what, it has to come up for vote, has to see where we're at 10, 15 years from now. Houston is growing. If we don't have enough money to maintain it, then we have to keep the toll on it to be able to do it. Now, this is one of the things that was mentioned in the Houston area. They can either not raise your taxes but continue to charge you for the toll road, or they can stop charging you for the toll road and raise your taxes. What do you want?
Cut spending.
One way or the other.
Yeah,
Cut spending is what I want.
That's what I want.
Yes, ma'am.
I had a question as far as tying the two parts of the county together, and I know they didn't get that extension here over there to the Woodlands. I know you were looking for an alternate route to a tie maybe by Mansions Way. Is there still some studies being done for that, to give us mobility from this area, 249, over to the Woodlands?
Yes, ma'am, there is. Mansion Way, we're looking at acquiring the right-of-way to tie that road from Wood Trace over to Mansions Way, which is about a quarter mile south of where Woodlands Parkway is. And we're trying to
Timetable for that, when that might happen, or is there a timetable, any kind of timetable?
It's probably gonna take us another year to get the right-of-way, and then I'll have to figure out a way to come up with the money for that. No, I don't have a timeline on it. Yes, ma'am.
I have a little question. I heard whenever you were talking about this construction here
Mm-hmm.
and the chaos that has ensued and all of it, was there anything specific that happened that wasn't looked into before it all got approved? I mean, was this just something that was learn as we go, or?
No.
I mean, what happened?
It was some federal money that you have to go through certain guidelines to spend that money. And when they got their money, started the job, there was about, I don't know how many different heirs to about 4 pieces of property. And when they run up on that 4 pieces of property, it took them 2 years, almost 2 years to get it set, to figure out who had what, who owned what.
I'm following you there, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
But the deal about crossing over the railroad track, since that's a given, and they didn't do that, I mean, the guy that won, or the company that's won the bid, how come that, the reason I'm asking that question is because I live on 2978, and that's a circus all its own. And I don't want it to be worse
The circus, and I appreciate that, but the circus on 2978 is utilities.
Okay,
We've been waiting for 2 years for AT&T to get out of the way. Now,
okay.
I don't really like to call it names, but AT&T's been the problem.
Okay, but here is, since I happen to live in a subdivision that you take your life in your own hand to get out of, that's no joke. And, but the thing is that I'm not into pointing fingers, and I don't think that's what you're doing at all. And I get that we've had to wait for this reason or whatever. My concern is who gets the job, and have they got all their ducks in a row before we start on this? Because what we don't want is this over there.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
Knowing that we don't want that.
We've made sure we got the utilities out of the way. Now, the problem with the utilities is they're regulated through Austin. So Austin's got to make the change to tell us we're gonna come up with new regulations, new ordinances to where once we award a contract, utilities has got 6 months to get out of the way, 90 days, whatever it's going to be. I hope it's 30 days myself, so we can begin construction. These contractors are going through a procedure, a grading procedure, once they apply or bid for a job that is graded and scored by engineer's office, county attorney's office, auditor's office. These folks did the same thing. Somebody dropped the ball on the railroad track.
Okay.
And I don't think he's still here.
Well, my question is, when something like that happens, is there a fine that they have to pay, or they don't even get a slap on the wrist? What's the deal?
We just end up paying the bill.
I don't know whether this job's got any kind of late charges or,
Penalty?
yeah.
I don't know if they realize it's tax.
Yeah, it's not my job either, it's textile. But it's in my precinct. So I get the phone call when something goes wrong right here.
Okay, so you're saying TxDOT's in charge of 2978?
Mhm.